What's going on, good people? Welcome back to the Living the Life show. I'm your host, Columbus Cody, and I thank you so much for joining me today for the verse of the day. Now, today's verse is one that you have to adopt. You gotta place it in your heart if you truly want to emulate the Lord. If you really want to be like Christ, if you want your life to be Christ-like, for people to look at you and call you a Christian because you do it the right way, this is a verse you have to input into your heart. So today's verse of the day comes from Matthew chapter 20, verse 28, and we're going to read the NLT, and this is what it says. For even the Son of Man came not to be served, but to serve others and to give his life as a ransom for many. Now, here's what I want you to think about. If you were to look at the verses right before that, they're asking Jesus, how can one be great? And he's explaining to them that the greatest among you will be the slave, the servant. The greatest among you will be the one who seeks to be a blessing to others, to serve others. This is what he did. If you remember the story when the disciples and Jesus were in the room and he fills the basin of water and he's kneeling down at each disciple's feet to wash their feet. If anybody should have had their feet washed, it should have been the master. It should have been the leader. It should have been the Lord. But what he does is he demonstrates to them what he expects of us. He sits down and he washes their feet, and he does it. You know, Jesus didn't do no halfway job. You know, he put his whole self into that. That was probably the best their feet had ever been cleaned. Probably better than they cleaned their own feet. And he went from person to person to person. And when he got to Peter, he says to Peter that he wants to clean Peter's feet. And Peter's response is priceless. He's like, you can't clean my feet. Now, mind you, he didn't say I should be cleaning yours. He just said, you can't clean my feet. And Jesus explains to him that this is what I have to do. And if you won't allow me to clean your feet, I cannot have any part in you. And so Peter says, then don't just clean my feet, clean all of me. And that's the key. The Lord does want to clean all of you. He wants to use all of you. And the coolest thing that we can do, the greatest thing that we can do as it relates to serving the Lord is to serve others. We have to develop a service mindset. It's not about you and me. It's not about what we can get out of this thing. It's what we can pour into it. When he saved us and he delivered us from our sin, it is now our duty to repay. Even though you can't pay it off, repay him by serving others. That is our duty. Our duty is to shine our light brightly by serving others. Don't seek the attention, just do the service. He will bring the spotlight on you if he desires it. Your role, my role, is to serve others. If you really want to be great in the kingdom, be a servant. Be a servant. All right? It's the verse of the day, good people. I challenge you to look for some way to serve. I promise you this, though, if you pray and ask God to show you how you can be a greater servant, who you can serve, he will point you in the right direction. Be open to him. Listen for his voice. He will tell you who and when and where and why to make that move. And if you do it, you will feel, number one, you'll feel great about being used by God. But number two, you will be a greater blessing to someone than you probably ever thought possible. It's the verse of the day. Make sure you watch it, share it, and live it. Now let's get busy living the life.